Watch Rick put an outboard motor and outriggers on his canoe.
It doesn't hit the pontoons. The pontoons are right here. And we're good. And on the water.
It's almost impossible to tip it. Even though they don't look that big, they provide enough flotation to keep it from leaning too hard. And when I solo with the boat, I can even take my hands off the motor and actually steer it just by leaning and dipping one outrigger tip in the water versus the other. And you can actually slalom with it if you wanted to, no hands, which is kind of fun. Little goofy, but fun. Canoe leaves very little wake at low speeds, which is, engine is air-cooled rather than water-cooled. So the exhaust into the water, but it does get a little loud at higher speeds for being such a small motor. You got a 4-inch pipe. They're mounted on the canoe. The board sits on top of the boat, and this goes underneath of the aluminum gunnel, and then when you tighten this up, it locks it in place. And that's all that does.
So is that big sheet of metal like a washer, basically?
Basically, yeah, except it gives it a little more surface area and a little more grab. It's probably been 15 years or more since I built this contraption for the canoe. And the idea was to be able to have it very stable with an outboard motor on so that you didn't end up tipping over. And at the same time, I wanted something that I didn't have to permanently damage the canoe. So this thing all just clamps together in pieces. And it can be clamped onto the canoe, taken off the canoe, then you can use the canoe like a regular canoe, and there's nothing that gets in your way as a result of having the outriggers built. So we've got a setup like this, and I also am going to put a mount for the motor on the back so that's going to be the same way. It just clamps on and off. All right, these are outriggers that are basically made from sewer pipe. The first set I built were much longer, and the pipe was bigger diameter, and they were so long and cumbersome that they ended up, when you weren't using the motor, they ended up being in your way. So this is just a hardware bracket, a mending plate that you would buy in a hardware store, and a couple of hose clamps on both ends. And then this is electrical conduit that I pinched the ends on and bent it with a conduit bender. Hole in it so that it lines up with the hole in these brackets. You just slide up there.
What are you putting in?
This is a little pin with holes in it, clevis pin. The conduit's mounted to the pieces of wood, and then there's bolts and screw-on knobs underneath. Now this is just a thing that I made to help keep the water from the motor when it's running from splashing too much water into the canoe in the back. Slides back here, and we've got a knob underneath that tightens up. No, it sits behind where the motor is going to be.
So how long would you say it takes to put it together?
It depends on how good I feel on any given day, but normally if everything goes right and the bolts haven't gotten too rusted and I forgot to lube them, it takes about 15 minutes max to put it together. And again, it's made with 2 pieces of steel and then these threaded knobs that will lock it in place once it's where I need it to be.
This is Rick in Round Valley Reservoir. It's nice and still and calm. But ironically, the night before, it was really rough. That's where he said he actually broke the mount for his motor. But there were waves coming over the bow of the boat. It was so bad. There was actually like white caps coming in. So that was around Valley Reservoir. And this next one, we are actually heading out to the Delaware River. That is, I believe, the Ben Franklin Bridge from New Jersey to Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania. And this water is rough. It looks pretty calm, okay, but it really isn't. It's extremely rough. And there's big ships out there and towboats, so I was more than happy to get back and not go out there. That probably wasn't the brightest place to put the boat, but we were just playing around.
Like this video, let's have a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.